Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby with Fitness is Medicine, and today I'm going to show you a different set of exercises that you can do in your home. And we're going to use one dumbbell that you can use for a couple of the different exercises. So if you do have more weights, you can use a heavier and then a little bit lighter one, and we can use that for a lot of the exercises today. And I'm also going to use a ball for an ab exercise. So I have a small weighted ball, or you can use like a playground ball or even a tennis ball, really, just something to kind of hang on to, and we'll go over that. So make sure you warmed up before you start. If you haven't, press pause and go out and walk or ride your bike or elliptical or something. You can even do some, marches and some knee raises, and just kind of get your heart rate up, get your body moving, get your blood pumping, and open up those blood vessels, getting them ready for exercise. So we're going to start with a row on the bench. So I'm going to go through these all one time with you. You can stop after each exercise and repeat them 2 or 3 times, or you can do them all through and then repeat them 2 or 3 more times, depending on how you like to do them. If you like to do the whole thing and then repeat it 2 or 3 times, sometimes it's good to do like a 5 minutes of cardio in between so that you keep your heart rate up for the entire session, getting more benefit from the whole exercise program. And if you do that, you can also move through at your own pace. You can do more. You can slow them down. You can decide if you need to grab some extra weights or some different things to make it more valuable for you. Okay, so we're going to start with a row on a bench. So I've got my weights set up here. If you don't have a bench, you can do this. You can do this on the floor. You can do it on your coffee table. What I want you to do, though, is have a nice flat back, so my hand and my same knee are up on the bench. And then I want a nice flat back. I don't want this hanging down here. All you're going to do is drive your elbow towards the ceiling and pull that weight to your armpit. Everything is staying stable. The only thing moving is that one arm that you are working right now. Pulling up, you're squeezing your shoulder blade toward your spine, pressing that shoulder straight up, or pressing your elbow straight up towards the ceiling, nice and slowly. I like to do things single-sided because you really have to work with those stabilizing muscles. And really, when you pick things up in real life, oftentimes you're just doing it with one hand or one arm. And when we work both at the same time, it's valuable, but you're not always doing it that way in real life. And I want to mimic how you're going to do things and make you stronger for your real life. All right, just set that down and we'll switch sides. So put your knee and that same hand on the bench so that you're in a good, stable, flat position with your back, and squeeze up. You're driving that elbow towards the ceiling, breathing each time. And we're going to do 10 or 12 each set here. The other way you can do this is do them for a time. So you could do them for 30 seconds, or you could do them for a minute, especially if you have a lighter weight and you need a little bit more. You can do a set of 20, or you can do them all for, a timed limit, depending on what you have around your house and what you need to do to challenge yourself. All right, last one. Good. Now, the next one I have is a squat, and I'm going to use a kettlebell. So if you have one, go ahead and grab it. The other thing you can do is just use that same weight we were just using. I'm just going to have you hold it at your chest so that we have a little bit of resistance for your squat. So I'm going to have you, if you do have a kettlebell, flip it upside down, and then we're going to do some squats. So just holding it here for some extra resistance. Slowly up and down. In your squat, you got to sit back so those knees stay over your ankles, really sitting back deep into that squat. The other thing you can do is you can just do this as a sit to stand. You can sit down in a chair and stand back up. That's a really good way to make sure you have really good form. Or forget about the weight, and hang on to something in front of you. So keep going if this feels like it's a good challenge, but you can put, if you need the extra stability, stand with something in front of you so you can hang on to it, so you can really sit back into that squat. That's the important thing. You don't want to be sitting here. You're gonna sit those hips back so that your knees and your hips are all working together, and we're working those big muscles in your legs. We're working those quads, we're working those glutes. But use that to really sit back if you need to. Or like I said, do a sit to stand. And that's a really great way to have perfect form with your squats. Just make sure when you do this, your knees are staying straight and they're not collapsing towards each other as well. You can really watch yourself and watch that form. Okay, next we're gonna do a balance. So we're gonna stand, and I want you to stand, we're gonna do a tandem stance, and I want you to just alternate putting your foot all the way forward and all the way back. So we're standing on one leg, and then going heel to toe with that other foot back and forth. Putting it directly in front of that toe. I hit my heel to it every time. And then directly behind that foot. So I'm hitting my heel to that toe, and then I'm hitting this toe to this heel. So we're just alternating, changing your balance, weight shifting just a little. So I'm weight shifting forward and back as I go into that tandem shift. Again, if this is challenging, make sure you do it next to a counter or a kitchen chair or something that's really stable that you have near you. If you need more of a challenge, hold a weight in one hand. That throws your balance off, makes your core work a little more. Or slow it down even more. That makes it more challenging. All right, we're gonna switch feet. So stand on your opposite foot, and then we're gonna do the same thing with the other foot. Oftentimes people will find they have more balance or better balance in one side versus the other. Again, if you need more challenge, grab a weight, hold it in one hand. Or you can try closing your eyes, but make sure you're doing it somewhere safe that you can hang on to a bar or a kitchen sink or a sturdy kitchen chair, something like that, so that if you do lose your balance, you've got something right there. So we're just doing a little bit of weight shift, back and forth. Work on each side for about 30 seconds. I think we've probably done more than 30 seconds here. Just back and forth, pretending you're on a tightrope and you can't waver off that line. You can do it, if you need a visual, you can do it. If you have hardwood floors, you can just kind of keep your feet on those lines or on a tile line, something like that if you need a really good visual. Okay, next, let's see. We're going to do Y holds on your tummy. So, generally I have a towel to roll up in here to put underneath my forehead. So if you do have a towel, go ahead and grab one to put underneath your forehead here, because you gotta keep your head down. You don't want to be like this. It's really hard on your neck to be like this. So if you can find a rolled up towel or a pillow or something that you can put your forehead on and press into. And we're going to keep your shoulders away from your ears here. Arms out into a Y, and then you're going to lift them up off the ground and hold them for about 5 seconds. So, lift up, thumbs up towards the ceiling, and then relax. We're going to do that 10 times. If you find you need to make an adjustment, particularly trying to keep those shoulders away from your ears here. That's the most important thing. So, and I do want you to have something to put your forehead on, even if it's just the ground, but having something here keeps your head in a better alignment. I don't want you holding your head up off the ground because that adds some extra challenge to your neck, and I don't want that to be a problem. If you're having any shoulder issues with this, you can bring your hands out further and do more of a T, but try to do that wide if you're able to. Let's do 5 more. Keep breathing. Nice deep breaths as you hold these. Keeping those shoulders away from your ears. Really remind yourself. And let's do 1 more. Pointing those thumbs up towards the ceiling. Deep breaths and relax. Okay, good. Now we're going to turn over and do some ab work. I have got a ball here, and this is just a small 2-pound ball, but you can also use a playground ball or a tennis ball, like I said earlier. So we're gonna sit back and do on your back. Make sure I'm on the camera here, yep. On your back, and I want you to, we're gonna bring that ball overhead and stick your feet out and then bring them together. So, but what I want you to do is we're going to do it in a diagonal section, like plane of motion. So we're going to reach this way and then come back. And then reach. You're going to think about reaching your feet and your arms towards the corners of the room. Now, in order to protect your back, start off with your knees bent. So you can see that I'm reaching at a diagonal here, but I'm keeping my knees bent, and I'm just lifting them up and then setting them down here. So that's probably all you're going to want to do. If you need more of a challenge, then you can straighten out those legs, reaching towards the opposite corners of the room, but that can be really hard on your back if you don't have the appropriate abdominal strength, if you don't have that core strength already built in. So if you're able to do that without pain, that's great, but don't do it if you have any back pain whatsoever. So the furthest challenge here is doing it without reaching out and touching the floor. So the reason we're doing it in a diagonal fashion is we're getting a little bit more of your obliques, which are your side abdominal muscles. Remember, just do your knees to start, and then you can kind of inch out and see if it feels okay, depending on where you are. And then don't forget to breathe. We'll do 1 more each side. Okay. Great. Let's see. Next, we're going to do a standing hip exercise. So if you have low blood pressure, or if you know it takes you a minute to get off the floor and then stand up, take a minute and just slowly get up. So sit for a second and then stand up when you feel like you're ready. Don't rush from the floor to standing. Especially with all of our blood pumping like it is, you don't want to end up getting lightheaded and falling over or anything. Okay, we're going to do a standing hip abduction. So we're going to stand on one side, 1 foot, and bring 1 leg out to the side. So we're working on your glutes here. Do this next to something for some support if you need the balance. And importantly here, think about your toe staying straight forward or even turning in just a little bit. We don't want our toes reaching out like this because our quads and our hip flexors take over and they get a lot of work already. So we're going to stand on that supporting leg and just slowly take that opposite leg side out to the side. So notice that I am able to stay stable here, and I'm not doing this. I don't need it to go way far out. I just need it to come out to the side and back. So you're getting balance and stability on the standing leg, and then we're working those glutes on the moving leg. Keeping that toe turned in just a little bit, really isolating those muscles. Okay, now we'll switch sides. So again, do this at the kitchen counter, do it at a, with a chair in front of you, somewhere where you can have that stability. If you don't need it, don't use it. You can keep your hands just kind of on top of it and ready to grab if you lose your balance. I'm gonna scoot back just a little. But we're just isolating those glutes on this one. This is a really good stabilizing, hip stabilizing exercise. See, I'm keeping my everything here nice and stable, keeping my core tight so that everything stays stable here. If you feel like, if you have a hard time and you're standing and you're falling into that supporting, that standing leg hip, this is a really good one that you need to do, but use that support. So stand at a kitchen sink and use that support to help keep that hip in line. So if you start to move your foot out to the side and you instantly go like that, so use something to help you stay stable so that you can do this exercise, because these muscles need to be tighter to keep that hip and that capsule all nice and tight to give you that support that you need. Okay, shake those hips out if they're feeling a little tight. And next we're going to come back to the bench and we're going to do some triceps kickbacks. So this is a good way to work your triceps. I'm going to use a little bit lighter of a weight than I did for my row. So we're going to come into the same position on that bench. You can even do it on the floor or on a couple chairs, or your coffee table works great as a bench for things like this. So same side, hand and knee up on the bench. You're going to start in that, like you're almost in that row, and then kick back straight from there. So you want your elbow and to just be the only joint moving here. So my top part of my arm here is parallel with the floor. Really isolating those triceps, nice and slowly each direction. Keeping that shoulder down away from your ears. Let's do 2 more. And then switch sides. So just set that weight down, and then you can move yourself over to the other side. Same side, hand and knee are on the bench. Pull that weight, and then kick it straight back. Triceps kickbacks. So you're keeping your upper arm parallel to the floor, and then bringing the rest of your arm out to meet it. Keeping that shoulder down away from your ears. Keep breathing. Keeping your back nice and flat. Let's do 1 more, all the way back. Good. Okay. Now go ahead and pause it, and you can either rewind it and just do the whole thing again with me, or you can, just all those ideas that I gave you, you can do one all the way through 3 times, do the next one 3 times through, whatever works for you. And then if you want to do it, all of the 6, I did 7 exercises today, pause it, go do 5 minutes of cardio or 10 minutes of cardio, come back, do it again. Or if you don't have time to do all of that, do them 1 time through in the morning, 1 time through in the afternoon, whenever you can get some more time. There's lots of ways you can do it. Just keep moving and keep challenging yourself. Okay, have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.